2007, I teach in the Department of Science of Nutrition at Campus Biomedico University in Rome a course addressed to first-year students called Teaching and Communication Methodologies. The course is chosen by students on a voluntary basis. It is among the optional courses that they can select, and normally in a year, more than 100 students attend it. The original idea of the course was to equip students with those skills that they need in order to successfully enter the job market. A research carried out by Flynn and his colleagues in 2012 has identified the ideal skills of food scientists and technologists in Europe. Of the over 3,300 skill ideas provided, the most desired skill overall was communication, followed by problem-solving and demonstrating positive attitudes and behavior. The data presented in this article suggests that improvements in food scientist training, particularly the acquisition of soft skills, will improve Europe's food workforce, since these are the skills that employers most desire. This is why in this course, students learn how to present themselves and their ideas effectively, how to work in group, how to prepare and conduct an effective presentation, how to ask and answer questions during debates. The course is also aimed at stimulating their critical thinking through the analysis of food advertising or the capacity to search scientific literature in order to check issues related with fake news in science of nutrition. In order to develop these skills, it is very important to design activities that foster active learning. The course is mainly based on interactive lessons, exercises, role-playing, problem-based and project-based learning. Among the different activities that I propose in this course, the elevator pitch is one exercise that I ask students to do after a specific training. The activity begins with a brainstorming with students, discussing the reasons for writing and practicing a formal speech. Then I introduce the basic elements of a speech, the opening, the body, and the conclusion. I provide tips for those parts in order to make them more effective. For the opening, I describe to students how to set the expectations, how to establish their credibility, and how to raise the attention of the audience. For the central part, I suggest using quotes from the expert, presenting data and facts, and relate to their personal experiences. For the closing, I describe how to tie up one's speech, how to display, even verbally, that the speech is coming to an end, and eventually how to include a call to action, particularly for persuasive speeches. During this training, I often produce examples borrowed from the movie or coming from famous speeches. I also make a brief excursion into body language, always presenting video examples. After this part, I ask students to think of a subject or an issue that they can present in 2 minutes, 120 seconds, in order to produce an elevator statement or elevator pitch that is a short summary to quickly and simply define a product or a service or an organization and its value proposition. The name elevator pitch reflects the idea that it should be possible to deliver the summary of it in the time span of an elevator ride, between 30 seconds and 2 minutes, in order to capture an investor's interest. After that, we have a further brief brainstorming to answer the question, what makes an elevator pitch a good elevator pitch? I then present some basic rules and provide examples of elevator pitches from international competitions. The students have 1 week to prepare a storyboard, record the video, and upload it in a shared folder. During the following lesson, we see the video, I provide feedback, and we comment all together some of the videos. In the previous years, I also used to have some students presenting their speeches in presence. This year, due to the lockdown, we couldn't perform any activity in presence, and I decided to create a peer assessment activity for students in order to allow them to see some of their colleagues' videos and give them their feedback. My course has different intended learning outcomes already related to soft skills. In particular, at the end of the course, students are expected to be able to communicate transparently as a result of increased congruence and confidence, present clearly and confidently to an audience, communicate expressively and effectively both in face-to-face and online settings, monitor and manage communication patterns in a group. For the elevator pitch, the intended learning outcomes are related specifically with the first three items. What I found interesting in this pilot was to focus more on connecting the learning outcomes with specific assessment activities. I used both teacher assessment and peer assessment. The assessment normally takes place following some criteria connected with intended learning outcomes that I share with the students. This year, I decided to create a peer assessment activity based on Moodle workshop and gave students agreed with these criteria. I wanted them to see at least 3 elevator pitches and give feedback to their colleagues. This feedback should not include any evaluation, but was meant to provide suggestions for improvement. The ideal thing might have been to ask students to record again their videos after getting their colleagues' feedback. Nevertheless, this would mean to spend another lesson, 3 or 4 lessons instead of 2, on this topic. Time management, in my opinion, is a key issue for this kind of activities. They should not last too long in order to prevent students from getting bored. Neither should they be too brief in order to help students get acquainted with them. In my course, this is one of the first activities, and further exercises, for example, preparing a Pechacucha presentation, that is a presentation of 20 slides with 20 seconds of talking for each slide, build on this and are aimed at further developing communication skills. I think that one of the most important things in this kind of experiences is to engage students. Active learning does not only require an extra effort to the teachers, but also to the students. This is why I suggest, first of all, to explain them the reasons why we are doing these activities. Even if they can't see the value of these activities, they have to know that training their soft skills will be useful for their future and is directly linked to their employability. Secondly, I suggest that these activities will be designed in order to provide fun to students. If they have fun, it's more easy that they engage and train more. Last but not least, I recommend to have a debriefing after each activity in order to help students learn from what they have experienced and have the possibility to transfer what they have learned or the competence they have acquired in another field or in another situation.